If you think you need a $10,000 gravel bike to get elite performance, this build may completely change your mind. Because this custom Lexon GFX weighs just 8 kilograms, costs around $3,700, and on a pure dollars per kilogram basis, it may outperform almost every mainstream gravel bike on the market. The goal behind this build was never luxury, and it definitely wasn't brand prestige. The objective was simple: build a gravel race capable bike with excellent weight, excellent functionality, long-term reliability, and exceptional value. Everything was selected deliberately: electronic shifting, a lightweight wheelset, carbon cockpit, power meter integration, and enough tire clearance for real gravel riding. The final result: an 8 kilogram gravel bike with premium level specifications for roughly $3,700. And honestly, that starts becoming very difficult to ignore. Now, obviously, bike performance is more complicated than just weight, but I wanted a metric that combines both performance potential and cost efficiency. So instead of asking, is it light or is it cheap, I asked, how many dollars are you paying for every kilogram of bike? For this build, that number comes out to be about $462 per kilogram. And that's where things start getting interesting. Once you compare this against true high-end gravel bikes, the value gap becomes enormous. Many premium gravel race bikes now land between $7,000 and $16,000 complete, while still weighing roughly 7.5 to 8.5 kilograms. That means the effective value ratio often ranges between $900 to well over $2,000 per kilogram. Now let's compare this build against some major gravel bikes in the lower price range currently on the market. First, the Canyon Grail CF SL 7 AXS. And honestly, this is probably one of the strongest value propositions from a mainstream brand right now. Current pricing has dropped significantly in some regions, landing around $3,300 to $3,600 equivalent. At approximately 8.82 kilograms, that puts the Canyon around $385 to $410 per kilogram. This is genuinely competitive, and compared to many premium gravel bikes, Canyon is clearly pushing aggressive value pricing. Excellent bike, very refined platform, but still heavier than this build. More expensive and without a power meter included. Then there is the Orbea Terra M30T at around $3,600 and roughly 9.8 kilograms. That equals approximately $367 per kilogram. Now, interestingly, that's actually a very strong value number. But the trade-off comes from the heavier system weight, mechanical shifting, and a less performance-focused specification overall. The giant Revolt Advances 2 currently sells for around $2,800 at approximately 9.5 kilograms. That works out to roughly $294 per kilogram. And honestly, that's impressive value. But again, the bike targets a different category of rider. It's heavier, less race-oriented, and uses more mid-tier components overall. Ventum's GS1 builds typically land around $3,500 at approximately 8.7 kilograms. That places them near $402 per kilogram. Still very competitive, but generally heavier and usually without a power meter included. And then bikes like the Cervélo, Aspero, Apex, or Rival XP LR builds, depending on the build configuration, those currently land around $4,400 to $4,800 at approximately 9 kilograms complete. That equals roughly $490 to $433 per kilogram. Beautiful bikes, premium engineering, excellent frame quality. But once again, higher pricing, more weight in stock trim, and no integrated power meter at this level. So while premium gravel bikes absolutely offer advantage in engineering, dealer support, brand ecosystem, and long-term refinement, the raw performance per dollar equation becomes very difficult to ignore. And this is where the Lexon build becomes genuinely impressive. At 8 kilogram and roughly $3,700 total, this bike lands around $462 per kilogram. That puts it extremely close to bikes costing thousands more. And compared to many premium gravel builds in the $7,000, $10,000 or $15,000 range, the value gap becomes massive. Not because the expensive bikes are bad, but because carefully selected custom components can radically improve value efficiency, especially if you are willing to build outside traditional big brand ecosystems. Now, to be fair, this build is not perfect. What could we be optimizing? My biggest criticism remains the frame weight. The Lexon frame was advertised around 1040 grams, but my measured frame weight without bearings or headset components came in closer to 1300 grams. And honestly, that matters. And this is where things get really interesting. Because frames like the Windspace G3 Gravel exist, the frame retails around 1,400 USD, including the integrated Cervélo cockpit, which is actually very competitive in today's gravel market. Claimed frame weight is around 980 grams. Now, realistically, actual production weights might vary, but the Windspace platform clearly targets lighter builds. Pair that with lightweight gravel wheels, modern 45mm tires, and optimized component choices, and suddenly you are looking at a roughly $4,200 build at approximately 7.6 kilograms complete. That configuration lands around $560 per kilogram. Now, interestingly, the raw dollar per kilogram metric actually becomes worse there, but the weight ceiling increases dramatically. And that's an important distinction. At that level, you are no longer optimizing purely for value. You are optimizing for elite lightweight performance. Now, none of these means custom build automatically becomes better than a Cervélo, a Canyon, or an Orbea. Those brands absolutely bring engineering experience, testing, dealer networks, and long-term product development. But this build does prove something important. If your priorities are lightweight performance, electronic shifting, power meter integration, race cable geometry, and intelligent spending, then custom builds can massively outperform many stock bikes in pure objective value. So, is the Lexon GFX one of the best lightweight gravel bike values available right now? Honestly, based on the numbers, it absolutely deserves to be in the conversation. And with the right future frame upgrade, like the Windspace G3 Gravel, it may become almost untouchable. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe, drop your bike weight and total build cost in the comments, and let's compare some real-world gravel bike value. Thanks for watching.